Welcome to the show. I'm Danella, and here's what's happening now. This week on August 4th, our last legitimate president celebrated a birthday. Yeah, I said it. And also, for now on August 4th, in Illinois will be known as Barack Obama Day. That was pretty cool this week. Now, also this week, Walmart creates a back-to-school campaign that only a psychopath could love. And also on deck is In Our World. This week, the world is watching for a possible nuclear war. But first, let's talk about FBI raids in Political Pop. Political Pop this week is sponsored by Intuitive Creative Agencies. From logos to websites, let them help you with all of your branding needs. For more information, log on to intuitivecreate.com. 3 a.m., there's a raid at your house. Yet that is what happened on July 26th to Trump's former campaign chairman, Paul Manafort. And this is all just coming out. His home in Alexandria, Virginia was raided by FBI agents. And this is really interesting because it's actually following a day that he voluntarily testified for the Intelligence Committee staff members, and it was the morning that he was scheduled to testify for the Senate Judiciary Committee. And they come to his house, and again, if he's already scheduled to testify, this somehow that means a judge agreed with him and said, hey, you're not going to get the evidence that you need willingly from him, so you're going to have to go to his house and get it physically. Now, here's the other thing that came out yesterday. Two sources have come out and said that Manafort's son-in-law, and now we should say, when we say son-in-law, we should say estranged son-in-law. And the reason we should say this is because Manafort's daughter filed for divorce, and this was in March. Well, anyway, the son-in-law, these two sources are saying that he met with FBI agents several times in the past months, and this is prior to the FBI raids. And let's not forget, this is the same son-in-law that's currently under investigation for a Ponzi scheme involving real estate deals with Paul Manafort. What? Now they say that what is done in the dark will come to light, and the spotlight is shining, and that is your Political Pop. Now let's talk about Walmart. What in the world, Walmart? All over social media, you saw their back to school campaign, right? Their back to school slogan, own back to school like a hero. And guess what? Did you see this? This was above a gun display. Are you kidding me? Own back to school like a hero above a rifle case? I think they're rifles. That's crazy. So Walmart is saying that no, there's no way that they agreed to this. They don't know what store this is in. They said, yes, this is our campaign. We are owning back to school, but above a gun case? Come on, who did that? That's crazy. Well, let me give you a couple of things that Walmart actually did on purpose. Let's take it back to last September in Palm City Beach. Now, they stacked up boxes of Coca-Colas, okay? These are Coca-Cola boxes, and they stacked them up like the World Trade Center to commemorate 9/11. What in the world, Walmart? And they apologized for that. And in 2014, online, they actually were selling fat girl costumes. Are you kidding me? Fat girl costumes? What in the world, Walmart? Do better. They do have good sales though, but do better. Now, also this week was the anniversary of the murder of Mike Brown, which sparked the Ferguson protest. And now it's leading everyone to question, 3 years later, how many innocent people, or how many people in general, have been shot and killed by police. Can I say, sadly, we still don't have an accurate record? I want to take this back to 2015. At this time, the former FBI director, James Comey, said this. Comey said, people have data about who went to the movies last weekend, or how many books were sold, or how many cases of the flu walked into an emergency room. And I cannot tell you how many people were shot by police in the United States last month, last year, or anything about the demographics. And that is a very bad place to be. Now let's take it back to 2016. In 2016, the Justice Department came out and announced that they're going to start compiling nationwide data. And they said that this data is going to be of police shootings and other aggressive violent encounters sparked by officers' engagement with civilians. This is what they're saying. Now, since then, the agency had said that in order to do this, they're going to need help on the state level and the local level, and this is requiring that officers give very detailed reports. Since this was announced, still, there have been no reports given. We still do not have accurate data of how many people have been shot and killed by police. But I'll tell you what the Washington Post is reporting. The Washington Post says that so far in 2017, at least 606 people have been shot and killed by police. And of that, 132 of them were Black people. Now it's time to get into In Our World. Nuclear war watch as threats increase between the U.S. and North Korea. I swear each week I come back, it's like something dramatic is happening. And this has been a ridiculous week. Now we know Trump is on vacation, right? He's at his golf resort in New Jersey. And on Tuesday, he gave some ad-lib threats to North Korea. And everyone's saying it's ad-lib. He was just freestyling what was in his heart. And you remember this was the talk of fire and fury. And we'll recap it in case you missed it. It was fire and fury. They will be met with fire and fury and frankly power, the likes of which the world has never seen before. And then yesterday, he doubled down, saying that talk wasn't harsh enough. So he had a few days to think about it. And yesterday, he came back and said, I don't think I was tough enough. He said, maybe it wasn't tough enough, right? It's been a long time that a president has actually stuck up for the country. Stuck up for the country? Now, let's talk about what has happened since Tuesday. So you obviously know North Korea was like, what? You gonna talk that drama to me? Well, here's what we think about you, Trump. They said that this cat is senile. They said that not only is he senile, but they said that he can only understand absolute force. I have never heard anyone say that about a U.S. president. Can only understand absolute force. Now, the other thing that they did was release a pretty much detailed threat plan to attack the U.S. territory of Guam. Okay? Guam. Everyone is concerned. Not just us, but also our allies. China looking at us like super crazy. South Korea is looking at us like, what? And let's talk about South Korea and what they feel that Trump's capability is to do the right thing as it relates to North Korea. Now, back in June, this was a poll. Prior to June, the approval rating was about 74%. In June, before he made these statements, it was down to 17%. So imagine what they're thinking now. And keep in mind, South Korea, they've always had missiles aimed towards them. Always. And still, they always talk about unity, peace, some sort of negotiation. You threaten us, we still want unity, peace, some sort of negotiation. And China, this is an ally that we're holding on by the mere fingertips. Right? This is what we did to China yesterday. Did you hear about the U.S. destroyer that was just cruising around the South China Sea? Are you kidding? And we call it freedom of navigation. Well, you know what China says? That's provocation. Yeah, that is provocation. And they not only said that, they were like, get up out of our waters. Let me tell you what the State Department said. So the State Department spokesperson responded this way. She said, the point is to demonstrate that the U.S. will continue to fly, sail, and operate wherever international law allows. It's true in other places around the world as well. And so this is basically like, yo, you say you are allies, you're going to let us take our warship and swim it up in your waters near our enemies to let them know. What? It's aggressive. It's aggressive. So let's talk about what will happen if a ballistic missile is launched. If a ballistic missile is launched from North Korea, It'll take about 15 minutes before it hits Guam. And the threat is 4 missiles. That's the threat. Now, 4 is important for a couple of reasons. The first reason is because our biggest defense is our anti-missile system, right? And the idea is, well, our anti-missile system will shoot down these missiles. Well, first of all, when you're saying 4, that's a lot. And you're talking about a system that has never been tested in its history. Never been tested. And now you got 4 coming towards you and it's never been tested. And so you have a chance of 1 missing, showing that we're vulnerable. Showing that we're vulnerable. And it's interesting also because why won't we just test our defense system out in a time of peace? And we can't because it could show that we're vulnerable. But we're still doing all this strong talk, aggressive talk. This is just ridiculous. Now, even yesterday, Trump said that he did not comment on whether or not preemptive strike was out of question. Instead, he was like, we won't talk about it. I'm not going to let you know whether I bomb them or not. I'm not going to talk about it. Right? That's what he also said yesterday. But he also said he'll always consider negotiations. Now, it's a lot that I want to say about this. The first thing is, if this were played out on the street, right, where you got somebody saying, right, yeah, I don't mind us making up our agreements, but I'm going to ride up on your neighbors. I'm going to talk crazy about you, but I really want us to work this out peacefully. How is that happening? And you're saying this to somebody who the world sees as a madman, okay? We're talking about the leader of North Korea being somebody that has killed his actual family members in the street publicly, right? That's who you're making these crazy threats to at this time, instead of trying to work with our allies and work out peace. All of this posturing, strong talk, negative talk. The big thing is I want to ask is, can somebody who's close to Trump, anybody who is familiar with any part of history, just say, hey, when this is done in the past, this is how it turned out? Like, maybe just give him the cliff notes of how posturing, miscommunication, this type of talk has led to millions of people dying in wars, countless people dying in wars in the past. And now you're doing this. Even myself, granted, I don't have any missiles, but I've done something similar in the 5th grade. I remember me and my best friend at the time, we were really good friends, and we let people hype us up into fighting each other. We didn't even have anger towards each other, but it was literally just circumstance of what somebody said and needing it to be resolved. And instead of it being resolved, it became, well, I'm bigger than you, or I can fight you. And it ended up with us fighting in the street. And I remember this was so stupid. When I say we were fighting, we were young. We were fighting for hours until some adult finally came out and broke it up. And the longer we fought, more people got involved. More people came to hype us up, to cheer us on. And the sad part about it is, literally after we finished fighting, we talked about the fact that we didn't even dislike each other. I mean, granted, I couldn't trust that chicken again, and so we weren't no longer friends. However, it was sad because we were really good friends, and we just let ego, pride, specifically posturing, lead us into a battle. And the world is watching. All of this, the world is watching. And I'm sad to say, as you're listening to people that are on the ground, boots on the ground, feet on the ground, ears on the ground, and you hear what people are saying about the U.S., right now, we are not looking like the good guys. So that wraps up In Our World. Before we wrap up our show, I want to talk to you about a mommy moment. Trust me, it's worth it. I'll make it fast. So, just the other day, it was a busy day, man, busy. And I just finished feeding KJ some dinner. And so, I got him all set up to play a little bit while I start making dinner for us. And it's just KJ and I'm still waiting on my husband to come home, my nephew to come home. I'm whipping up some dinner, a little bit tired, and I'm listening out. And all mommies know, for your kids, you have to listen out. When they get too quiet, something is up. So I'm like, KJ, what's going on? Nothing. KJ, you good? Nothing. So I come into the room and I remember like I had just fed him dinner and I tried to wipe up all the food and I look at him and he's just like got lentils on his hand from eating some lentils for dinner. And I'm like, oh, KJ. And now, a little backdrop about my son. I think I've said this before. I'm not sure it's true of him. This kid is somebody who is a neat freak. Maybe he gets it from me. He possibly could get it from his dad. Or even our nanny. She's pretty neat too. Well, anyway, he cannot take mess. So I'm trying to get it off his hand and he's just like really looking at it. And so I walk over to him and I was like, KJ, oh no, what happened? What is this? What happened? And he says, Mommy, poo-poo. Caca, Mommy, caca. I'm literally wiping crap from his hand. Classic mommy moment. It was so freaking disgusting. I was literally like, man, I really love this kid. Because I'm like wiping it up, thinking that it's food that I did not clean up off the ground. Yeah. Go me. So disgusting. So disgusting. But I love him. So yeah, that's my mommy moment. And that wraps up our show this week. Thank you so much for joining the show. Thank you so much for your comments. Thank you so much, Erica. Thank you so much for HD. Thank you. If you want, feel free to leave a comment suggestion in the comment box. If not, you want to get a little more personal, email me, Danella@danellanow.com. Have a tremendous weekend, and I'll see you next week.